offer.
offering to split.
I don't offer on the
It
first.
depends. It's like, uh, yeah, I don't
That
know.
that kind of goes back to like the whole first date thing. Like in my opinion, that kind of goes back to the whole first date thing. It's like what you doing on the first date. Okay, what's the purpose of a first date?
Right.
It's like the purpose of a first date is not to see how much the guy is going to spend on you. The purpose of the first date, honestly, I would say no date is like no, there is no purpose, or the purpose for any date is not to see how much the man is going to spend on you. The purpose of any date is to see what you guys are going to do together.
What do you have in common? What are your likes, dislikes, whatever? To get to know someone.
Right,
Blah blah blah.
right.
I
That's the purpose of any date.
one of the
But
best experiences I ever had when I was like in my 20s. I dated this woman named Maria. You guys might know her as
Mariana.
the Italian stallion,
I,
the Italian
I
Megan
feel
Thee Stallion.
all
Um,
I feel all of his stories is just like um fucking shit. What's the shit that you do at church? Confessions. This whole podcast is nothing but this
Two
whole
two
podcast is nothing
confessions.
but his confessions.
these are
Oh,
my confession. Okay, no. So so me and Maria dated. She was awesome, and but the reason why I bring her up is like she did something that no other female that I dated had done before and didn't do until I met my wife, which was we would go out and with me a date is not just like dinner and a movie or something like that, right? It's like I have things planned. So it's like we're gonna hang out, and if you survive the dinner, right, then we're gonna go somewhere else and we're gonna do something else. And then if you survive, then we're gonna do something else. And then that may lead up
and
to
I'm tired. Don't do all that shit on the first date.
not the first date. This was us
Oh,
dating. Calm
man.
down.
Oh, I would say a date out one time. Stop taking me
I'm a
everywhere.
hell of a date. Calm down. And what she did, what she would do, for example, say I paid for dinner, right? And I paid to get into the club. She'd pay for the drinks, and then afterwards she might pay for something else, because that's what she that's what she did. And she was like the only woman I had ever dated that did that at that time. And then it was years before I met my wife now. And then my wife does that. She'll be like, okay, pay for that. I got this. I got that. So I think that's more like it's not necessarily 50-50, but the whole purpose of you paying is that you want someone, or you want to know that someone is acknowledging that they're interested in you. So for men are expected to pay, right? But for men, when a woman says, "Hey, I'm gonna, pay for this. Don't worry about it," that means,
That means something. That
yeah,
means something
it
to
means a
us.
whole lot to men, a whole lot. So if you're a woman who's always like, "Gimme, gimme, 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 gimme," gimme, more than likely, like the guy will date
We
you
ain't gonna want to deal with you.
until he could get some, and then he's gonna just like leave
Yep.
because he knows you're not
Uh,
serious.
well, I like the idea, and I never, I mean, I didn't pay 50. Well, I did pay 50-50 in my household with my ex-husband. But not until my children all moved in with their significant others did I hear about the whole, and they just said it in the video, was the bill, take your total finances and do the percentage of each person's payroll. That makes
Right.
sense to me. That makes sense because obviously if I make less money, paying 50-50 is going to be a struggle.
Exactly.
So that makes sense to me. And the first time I heard it, when my kid said it, I'm like, oh, why the fuck that makes sense because you're paying what your portion can afford. And you still manage to budget it all out for your miscellaneous stuff to be able to go out and whatever and still be able to save. That makes sense. I would do that more than saying I'll pay 50-50 because I don't want to pay
I,
50
I agree
50
with you, but it becomes even more important if you split the bills when you're married, that you have that percentage thing going on. Because I know with myself and my wife, I used to pay the tuition for my kids, and that was like almost $20,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good, like, almost a third of my paycheck,